Working the night shift changes you. You see the world when it's empty, but sometimes when you're staring at those security monitors at 3 a.m., you realize that empty doesn't mean safe, and sometimes the customers don't want to buy anything.
All right, story one. I've been working the late shift at a gas station off Highway 74 for about 2 years, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. It's usually quiet, just truckers and people passing through. The occasional drunk person buying cigarettes. Most nights I just restock shelves and watch videos on my phone. The station sits alone at an exit surrounded by farmland. During the day you can see fields. At night there's nothing but darkness beyond the parking lot lights. It was a Tuesday in October, around 2 a.m. I was behind the counter organizing lottery tickets when I noticed a van pull up to the pump farthest from the building. A white cargo van, no windows in the back. It stopped at pump 6 and just sat there, engine running. I watched the security monitor, waiting for someone to get out and start pumping gas. Nobody got out. The van just idled. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. I brushed it off at first. Maybe they were on the phone. Maybe they fell asleep. It happens. But after 10 minutes, I started getting a weird feeling in my gut. Something felt wrong about how still everything was. The van hadn't moved. No door had opened. Just sitting there with the engine running and headlights pointed at the empty field beyond the pumps. I grabbed the store phone just in case. Then the headlights turned off. I stared at the monitor. The van was barely visible now without the headlights, just a dark shape at pump 6. I was about to call it in when I heard something that made my stomach drop. The service bell. At the back door. Not the front entrance where customers come in. The back door. The employee entrance that's supposed to stay locked. I heard it ring 3 times. Someone was at the back door trying to get in. I froze. My hands were shaking. The back door was directly behind the storage room, down a short hallway I couldn't see from the counter. I checked the front door camera. Empty parking lot. Checked the pump cameras. The van was still there, still idling, which meant whoever was ringing the back door bell had walked around the building. I didn't want to seem paranoid, but every instinct told me not to go check that door. The bell rang again, 4 times, faster now, more insistent. I called the police, told the dispatchers someone was trying to get in through the employee entrance. She said they'd send a unit, but it would be at least 15 minutes. We were in the middle of nowhere. I locked myself in the bathroom behind the counter. It was the only room with a lock besides the storage room. I sat on the floor with my phone and watched the security feed. The back doorbell stopped ringing. On the camera, I saw the front door open. A man walked in, tall, wearing a dark jacket and jeans, baseball cap pulled low. He didn't look at the counter. He walked straight down the candy aisle toward the back of the store. I watched him stop at the end of the aisle. He stood there for maybe 20 seconds, not moving, not looking at anything, just standing. Then he turned and looked directly at the security camera, directly at me. I couldn't see his face clearly because of the cap and the camera quality, but I could feel him staring. My heart was pounding. He stood there staring at the camera for a full minute. Then he walked toward the storage room, toward the back hallway, toward the bathroom where I was hiding. I heard his footsteps in the hallway. Slow, deliberate, getting closer. He stopped right outside the bathroom door. I could see his shadow under the door. He didn't knock, didn't say anything, just stood there. I was sitting on the floor holding my breath, trying not to make a sound. Then I heard the back door open, the one that was supposed to be locked. I heard it creak open and footsteps walking in. 2 sets of footsteps now. One outside the bathroom, one in the back hallway. They didn't speak to each other, but I could hear them moving through the store, opening the cash register, going through the storage room. Then, silence. I stayed in that bathroom for 25 minutes until I heard the police knock on the front door and announce themselves. When I came out, both men were gone. The van was gone. The back door was wide open. The police checked the cameras. The 2 men had filled garbage bags with cigarettes and lottery tickets. They'd taken about $3,000 worth of merchandise. But here's what made me quit. When the police reviewed the footage, they saw something I'd missed. Before the man in the store walked down the candy aisle, before he stared at the camera, the security camera at the back door had caught something. The second man had been standing at that door for 40 minutes, just standing there, in the dark, waiting. He'd been there before the van pulled up. He'd been watching me through the window the whole time. The police asked if I recognized either man. I didn't. They never caught them. I gave my 2 weeks' notice the next day. Have you ever felt like you were being watched at work? Let me know in the comments. All right, story number 2.
This story comes from a woman who worked at a 24-hour convenience store in rural Pennsylvania. Her name is Amanda, and she was 19 when this happened. She'd been working the graveyard shift for about 6 months, midnight to 8 a.m. The job was easy. Scan items, restock drinks, clean the coffee station. The store was part of a small chain. Corporate had strict rules about safety. Doors stayed locked after midnight. Customers had to use the night window, a small sliding window with a metal drawer for transactions. Amanda had regular customers, third-shift factory workers, truck drivers, insomniacs buying energy drinks. She recognized most of them. But there was one man who made her uncomfortable. He'd come in every Thursday around 3 a.m., always bought the same thing, a pack of Marlboro Reds and a bottle of Mountain Dew. He never made eye contact, never said more than necessary, just slid his money through the drawer and left. She'd been seeing him every week for months, always Thursdays, always 3 a.m., always the same purchase. Then one Thursday, he didn't come. 3 a.m. passed, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., no sign of him. Amanda felt relieved. Something about that man had always bothered her, even though he'd never done anything wrong, never said anything inappropriate, never acted strange. Just something in her gut told her to be careful around him. The next Thursday came, 3 a.m. The man pulled up in his usual pickup truck, walked to the window, but this time he didn't place an order right away. He just stood there, looking at her through the glass. Amanda asked if he wanted his usual. He nodded. She rang up the cigarettes and Mountain Dew, slid the drawer out. He put the money in, but when she tried to pull the drawer back, it wouldn't move. He was holding it. She tugged harder. He held it firm. Then he leaned close to the window and said something that made her blood run cold. "You should lock your car." Amanda felt her stomach drop. Her car was parked in the back lot, the employee lot, where customers never went. She asked what he meant. He smiled, let go of the drawer, took his items, and walked away. Amanda immediately checked the security camera that covered the back lot. Her car was there, a blue Honda Civic. Nothing looked wrong, but she had a terrible feeling. She called her manager, explained what the man had said. Her manager told her to call the police and lock herself in the office. Don't go outside alone. Amanda called the police, told them what happened. They said they'd send someone, but it wasn't an emergency, so it might take a while. She watched the back lot camera while she waited, her car just sitting there under the parking lot light. Then she saw something that made her stop breathing. Her car's interior light turned on. Someone was inside her car. She watched the camera, a figure sitting in her back seat, not moving, just sitting there. Amanda started shaking. How long had someone been in her car? Since before she got to work? She'd been there for 3 hours. Someone had been sitting in her back seat in the dark for 3 hours, waiting. The figure didn't move, just sat there, like they knew she was watching. I didn't want to seem paranoid, but Amanda locked every door in the building, pushed a shelf against the office door. The police arrived 30 minutes later, 2 officers. They approached her car with flashlights, checked the doors, all locked, checked the back seat, empty. They searched the entire parking lot, the woods behind the store. Nothing, no one. They checked her car for signs of entry. No broken windows, no scratches on the locks. They asked Amanda if she was sure she saw someone. She pulled up the security footage, showed them. The interior light turning on, the silhouette in the back seat. The officers looked at each other. One of them asked if anyone else had keys to her car. Just her. Her parents had a spare set, but they lived 2 hours away. The officer checked the footage timestamp. The interior light had been turned on at 3:14 a.m., exactly 2 minutes after the regular customer left the window. They asked for a description of the man, Amanda gave them everything: his truck, his license plate, his usual order. The police said they'd follow up. They escorted Amanda to her car, checked the back seat again. Still empty. She drove straight home and never went back to that job. 2 weeks later, the police called. They'd identified the man. He had a record: breaking and entering, stalking, assault. He'd been arrested 4 years ago for hiding in a woman's car, waiting for her to get in. When they went to question him about Amanda, he was gone. Quit his job, left his apartment, no forwarding address. They never found him. But here's what Amanda learned later. Her car's interior light. It had been set to stay on whenever a door opened. She always kept it on the door setting. But when the police checked her car that night, it was set to manual. Someone had changed it, which meant someone had been inside her car, and they'd made sure the light would turn on when they moved. They wanted her to see them. Have you ever gotten a warning from a stranger? Sometimes they know something you don't. If you're still watching, hit that like button.
This final story is from a guy named Marcus. He's 26 now, but this happened when he was 22, working at a gas station in New Mexico. Small place, 2 pumps, attached to a garage that closed at 6 p.m. After 6, it was just Marcus and whoever needed gas. His shift was 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. The station was on a state route, not much traffic, maybe 20 cars a night, sometimes fewer. He'd worked there for 8 months, and nothing unusual had ever happened. It was a Saturday in July, around 1:30 a.m. Marcus was restocking the cooler when the store phone rang. Not his cell phone, the landline behind the counter. It almost never rang. Only vendors and his boss used it. He answered. Static. He said hello 3 times. Nothing but static and a faint sound like wind. He hung up, went back to restocking. 5 minutes later, the phone rang again. He picked up. Same static, same wind sound. He hung up, started to feel annoyed. Probably kids pranking random numbers. The phone rang a 3rd time. Marcus grabbed it and was about to hang up when he heard something. A voice, faint, under the static. A man's voice, saying something he couldn't make out. Marcus asked who it was. The voice repeated. He pressed the phone harder to his ear. The voice said, "Behind you." Marcus turned around, nobody there, just empty aisles. He felt a chill run down his back. He hung up the phone, locked the front door even though he wasn't supposed to lock it until closing. He brushed it off as kids being creepy, teenagers messing around. 20 minutes passed. Marcus was trying to forget about the calls when he noticed something on the security monitor. The camera that showed the garage bays. One of the bay doors was open, just a crack, maybe 2 feet, enough for a person to slip through. Marcus stared at the monitor. That door had been closed when he started his shift. He'd walked past it, he was certain. The garage was supposed to be locked up tight. The mechanism was automatic. It couldn't just open on its own. Someone had to trigger it from inside. The phone rang again. Marcus didn't want to answer it, but something made him pick up. The voice was clearer now, no static. It said, "I can see you." Marcus felt his chest tighten. He asked who this was. The voice said, "Turn around." He spun. Nothing. Empty store. He checked all the cameras. Parking lot empty. Pumps empty. Back lot empty. But the garage, on the garage camera, he saw movement. A shadow crossing in front of the bay door. Quick, like someone walking past. Marcus grabbed the bat they kept under the counter. His hands were shaking. He wasn't going to check the garage. No way. He called his boss. No answer. Called the police non-emergency line. Told them someone might be in the garage. They said they'd send someone, but it would be 30 to 40 minutes. The station was remote. Marcus locked himself in the back office, watched the cameras. The garage bay door stayed open. The shadow didn't reappear. But then the phone in the office rang. A different phone, the one only his boss used. Marcus stared at it. 4 rings. 5. He picked up. The same voice, crystal clear now. It said, "I'm coming in."
Marcus dropped the phone. He heard footsteps. In the garage, heavy boots on concrete, walking toward the door that connected the garage to the store. That door was locked. He'd checked it, but he heard the handle turn, heard it rattle, then stop. The footsteps walked away, back into the garage. Marcus watched the camera. A man appeared in the frame, tall, wearing coveralls and a baseball cap. He walked to the bay door, pulled it closed, then disappeared. Marcus couldn't see where he went. The camera angle didn't cover the whole garage. I froze. I didn't move from that office for 45 minutes until the police knocked on the front door. 2 officers. Marcus let them in, told them everything. The phone calls, the shadow, the man in coveralls. They searched the garage, found the bay door closed, locked from the inside. They checked every corner, behind equipment, in the pit, the bathroom. Empty. No one there. No signs anyone had been there. They asked Marcus to describe the man. He pulled up the security footage, showed them. The officers went quiet. One of them asked if Marcus recognized the coveralls. He didn't. The officer pointed at the screen, at the logo on the coveralls. It was the logo for the garage, the mechanic shop attached to the gas station. Marcus said, "So what? Maybe it was one of the mechanics." The officer shook his head. He said the garage hadn't had mechanics in 3 years. It closed down. The owner sold it to the gas station company, but they never reopened it, just used it for storage. Nobody worked there. Nobody had keys except Marcus's boss. The coveralls on the man in the video, they were old, faded, from when the garage was still operating. Marcus quit the next day, but before he left, he asked his boss about the garage, about who used to work there. His boss went pale, asked why Marcus wanted to know. Marcus told him about the calls and the man in coveralls. His boss sat down. He told Marcus that 6 years ago, one of the mechanics had died. Heart attack, collapsed in the garage during a late shift, alone. They didn't find him until the next morning. The man had been trying to call for help. The phone records showed he dialed the store number 4 times. Nobody answered. He died alone on the garage floor. Marcus asked what the man's name was. His boss showed him a photo from the garage's opening day. 5 mechanics standing in front of the bay doors. The man in the middle, tall, wearing coveralls with the garage logo. Marcus felt sick. It was the same man, the same face, the same coveralls. He'd seen a dead man on the security camera. The police reviewed the footage again, enhanced it. The man's face was grainy but visible. They matched it to the mechanic's driver's license photo. Same person. The garage has been sealed ever since. Nobody goes in there, but sometimes late at night, employees say the phone still rings. That's it for tonight. 3 gas station workers, 3 shifts they'll never forget. Lock your doors, watch your back, and subscribe to SpookFeed if you want more true horror stories that'll make you rethink the night shift. Stay safe out there.